Hey guys, Sandy here, and today I am actually working in my art journal for the Crafty Maven's art party. I've pulled out a whole bunch of things. I've got a paint dauber, I've got some Liquitex ink, I have some Brutus Monroe Aqua Pigment Metallic, I have some Dylusions paints, I also have some Heidi Swap art screen stuff, I have my watercolors, my cheap watercolors from Michaels. I also have this Bria Reese paint writer. I have some Heidi Swap silk screen type things. I also pulled out a couple stencils. I brought in some really old Stickopotamus stickers. I have a photo of my husband and I at Yosemite. And my art journal is more like a scrapbook. When I first started it, it was a way to get out some feelings I had. But I treat it, some pages are like a diary, no more tears. And then some pages are like a scrapbook, like this, the Haunted Mansion. And I actually love this page. This is the entire, verbiage that is said at the Haunted Mansion. So these are, like, that's a scrapbook. This isn't finished. This isn't finished either. Obviously not finished. Like, a lot of stuff is not finished, but some of it is. So this is, it's just, you know, this one I did on camera and wasn't too happy about it, and swore I would never do another one on camera again. But I'm doing it again, so let's see what I can do. Now, I am not gessoing or anything on this art journal. It is a mixed media art journal, so it takes the stuff pretty good. What I do, however, is lay some water down with this big old puffy brush. I drop some of my Brutus Monroe Aqua Pigment down and just go ahead and swish that around the page until I'm happy with the color that I have. And then I blend it out just a little bit more because I wasn't too happy with it. So then I have to match the same color over on the left-hand side. And as you can see, it's definitely lighter than the right-hand side. So what do? I add some more. I decide to add the pigment right on my brush and then swipe it along just to get the color a little bit darker. And then I'm like, oh, it's taking too long. I just need to drop some more color on the page. Don't know why I didn't do that originally, as that is how I did the right-hand side. But, you know, things happen. So here is the art journal, and it is dry now. And I do have those little splatters up at the top that have come through on another page, and honestly, they don't bug me any. So the one good thing about having an art journal in a spiral notebook is that when you need to lay your stencils down on top of it, you can whip that thicker part of the spiral on the other side, and that's what I did here. Now, I am using the paint dauber directly over top of the stencil, and I actually would not recommend doing this. This is because the sponge at the top of the paint dauber, by the time I was pretty much finished doing this on the layout, you guys, like, the sponge is just, it is torn up. So it's probably not going to be a technique that I would recommend unless you really don't care about the dauber. I don't even know if you can get replacement daubers. So hooray, I didn't make you watch me dauber paint throughout the entire spread here. Now, this blue, white, and silver was looking very Frozen to me. Like, it was starting to scream a little bit of winter, and I did not want it to scream winter. I wanted the blue because of the sky in the photo, so I decided to bring in this 6x6 stencil, and I think this came from Brutus Monroe. I'm not exactly sure. There I whip that spiral notebook again. And to do this, I'm using some Dylusions paint, and I'm just using my, oh shoot,
I'm having a blank of what this thing is called. The little tool with the stick, and it's got the sponges on it. I can't. Oh, ink blending tool. There we go. Wow. Okay. Need to get myself some more sleep. I'm actually getting ready to go to a retreat, and I was up late last night and up early this morning, just getting ready for it because I do have to work today, and then right after work it is home, and then for 3 hours before I gotta go to the airport. So, had to get my stuff together. So I am using this ink blending tool, and I'm doing the same thing that I did with the other stencil. I am bringing it off the edge, and I'm getting different variations in color in this bright green, and that's because there is some green that is going directly on white, there's some green that's going on top of the blue, and then there's some green that's going on top of the silver. And the different colors I'm good with. Like I said, I am purposely trying to pull some colors from the photo, and there is some greenery back there, and the greenery is not all one color, so it works, which is pretty interesting because when I'm doing a regular scrapbooking page, I really don't usually pull colors from my photos. It's kind of just like what I want to scrapbook with at the moment. Now, my hands get super messy with this, and these are the first time I'm using these Heidi Swap what are these called? Like screen printing things. So I'm not even sure if my technique is proper. The last time I screen printed something, I was in 6th grade in Mr. Shea's technology education class. They had just renamed shop to technology education. So it's been a good while since I've done this. So for this one, I decided to put it right on top of the little squeegee tool, and the squeegee tool actually came with this little kit here. And I just think it is super fun. Now, when I go and clean this off, you're not going to see it, but the paint is still all over that silk screen. And yeah, it's all over the kind of like the outside of the silk screen, not so much where the things go through and you can see it. So now, this is also kind of interesting, just another thing to note. So this is my art journal. Like I said earlier in the intro, it's kind of a diary, kind of, just, I treat it kind of like a scrapbook. I treat it kind of like a diary, but it's this weird in-between thing that I really can't explain it in a good way, which is why I flipped through it earlier at the beginning of the video, just so you could kind of see where I was coming from. Now, I also used the little squeegee to spread out the glue because, the squeegee's there, so you might as well use it. Anyway, I digress. I just got off on a big old rabbit trail. So, for this one, I don't really care that somebody else's handwriting is in my art journal, which is really weird because in my scrapbooks, I start to twitch if I have too much of someone else's handwriting. Makes me nervous. I don't like it. But I do throw on those really old Stickopotamus heart stickers. They're actually wedding stickers. Some of the stickers say I do, but I'm not going to use those. I decide to go ahead and use this globe part of the silk screen as well. And this time I put it right on top of the silk screen instead of on top of the little squeegee tool. The only reason why I decided to do that was because I felt like there was a whole lot of little bits that I had to get out. Now, I do try to keep it pretty close to just being on top of the actual screen print and not onto the pages of the art journal. But, I do get a little bit of a line there, and that's okay. Now, if I would have done this over again, I would have kind of made the edges of the mat a little bit more organic. Like, I wouldn't have them as these harsh square rectangle lines. So that's just something I'll know for the future if I want to lay down this globe again on anything. Now, I pull out my watercolors because I think that, I'm going to add some layers. I'm going to add a little bit more. But I decide, no, I'm not going to do that right now. What I am going to do is use these old stickers. These are from Me and My Big Ideas, and I've had these for years, absolutely years. And I decide to just write, or not really write, but pluck down the stickers that spell out Yosemite. And I'm okay with the fact that it's black. Like I am, there's nothing else that's black on my layout right now, except this. Now I'm looking at this photo of me and my husband, and I'm kind of, I'm kind of having one of those memories, you know? So he looks a little uncomfortable in that photo, and he really was. So we are basically sitting on a cliff, and right underneath of us, behind us, it's like an immediate drop down. And it just made him super nervous for some reason. I did get a bunch of photos of us sitting here, and not all of the photos he's like this crazy nervousness going on, but he is right here. So I decided to layer on the final silk screen because, you know, why not, with the "You Are Here." And I felt like I needed to bring some black over to this side since I had it on that side. So I went ahead and used my Bria Reese paint writer, and I just slapped that stuff right on here for the "You Are Here." Now I did not want to add that star in, so I just avoided the star. Like, it's as simple as that. Needed to add a little bit more paint just to get it through. And then I'm not sure, I probably need to learn a little bit of a better technique because, or maybe I need to let things dry completely. Who knows? That could be part of it too. But, you know, it's my art journal. It's supposed to be messy, right? So I pulled that off, and as you can see, the Y on the U really just, the Y on the U, the Y on the word "you" really just didn't fill in very well. So I'm using my paint writer, and I'm just kind of filling it in myself. And that, it still has like the messy art journal-y feel that I'm fine with. If this would have been in a scrapbook, I probably would have, you know, been a little bit upset. Probably should have gotten a new paper towel as well, but, you know. So I dropped down the stars, oh goodness, the hearts, and I'm okay. So I've got the silver on both sides, I've got the green on both sides, I got the blue on both sides, I've got the black on both sides now. And then I thought, you know what, maybe I'll bring in a little bit of more blue. Maybe I'll just add a little bit. And then I'm doing it, and then I'm like, oh, what did you do? Your paint is still wet, and you were literally painting over it. So I quickly nixed that idea and stopped. And then I pull out this glitter pen, and I'm really disappointed in this thing. So that's a Spectrum Noir glimmer pen, and it's supposed to be silver. Now the glitter that comes out is silver, but the water is like rusty color, and I just probably need to throw it away. I don't know why I keep putting it back into my pin pile. Like, miraculously, it's going to turn into something that will work. But whatever. Probably should just throw it away. So I pull out this Sharpie thing here, and let me pull out my paint pen thing. So it is a Sharpie paint metallic silver. It's a medium point, and it's got a ball bearing. I don't know if you just heard me shake it. So I just added some little lines on Adventure Seekers, and then I went ahead and did it here on You Are Here, and I'm just, yeah, my hands were really messy. I couldn't get all the paint and everything off of my hands before I left for work yesterday, so that was intense. And then I tried to use a Faber-Castell Pitt pen to write, and I really, really don't like the way it looks. Like, I really just don't. I am completely disappointed in it, and I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to cover this up? So I grab things. I'm like, okay, do I do a label sticker? Like, what am I going to use? I'm thinking maybe I need to peel up my photo and put something underneath of it, and that way I can put something underneath over here as well. But the photo is good and stuck because, you know, I spread out that glue all over the place. So I decide to go with some black labels. And then this one doesn't cover it all the way. And I'm like, no, Sandy. No. So I decided to go with the bigger black label, pulled the little guy off, and laid that larger black label there, and it covers up all of that text that I had written that I just wasn't happy with. I'm thinking about trying to pull it up again, and I'm like, nope, I really glued that sucker down good. So I'm thinking there's going to be a lot more black on this page, and I'm just going to have to be okay with it. So I have that label layered there. I've got the heart layered over it, and then I decide to use my white Uniball Signo pen, and I just go ahead and write down what I need to write down. Now, I think I've said this before, but my Uniball Signo pen, so I've had, this has been like the one I have used for years. It's the Uniball Signo Broad. It is a pigment ink pen, and there was a moment where I had one that just wasn't really doing what I needed it to do. It wasn't laying down the ink. It wasn't writing very well. And many people told me I was holding it incorrectly. They also gave me other tips and tricks. And finally, I was just like, screw this. And I threw the pen away, and I got another one. And that pen worked great. Like, absolutely great. Like how I've been using it for years. So I went ahead and was glad I finally chucked that one and just bought a new one. The pen was just defective. It just, something was wrong with it. And that happens. I just find it interesting that, you know, I held on to that pen that I knew wasn't working for such a long time, and I should have just chucked it right away and got a new one, because obviously the new ones work and they are fantastic. And I love pens anyway, and which is probably part of the reason why I held on to it for so long, and probably because I'm holding on to that Silver Spectrum Noir glitter pen. I just love pens. They're my thing. Now I am taking I think this is my Uniball again, and I'm just kind of decorating the UR here, similar to how I decorated Adventure Seekers. And I believe this is going to be it. Oh, no, I'm going to add in some more outlining. So I really felt like the words were not really big off the page. And I was actually thinking about trying to figure out how to emboss it somehow, but I really didn't know how to do that with the silk screen. Like, I didn't know, should I just try to put some Versamark through there? But, you know, that's going to be an experiment for another day to see if I can emboss with a silk screen. So this is just messy lines. I'm not really doing anything fancy around it. I'm just trying to give it a little bit of dimension. And I feel like I do. I feel like Adventure Seekers it's less blended down into the background, and it's more like a top layer. Sometimes I want my stuff to all blend in, and sometimes I definitely want the layers to be on top. Now, like I said, I really wish that I would have done this map silkscreen in a way that it was kind of like organic edges. I mean, it's not like I don't hate the layout because of it. I just wish I would have done it. And like I said, I'll do that for the future. So now I'm using a blue Zig, I think it's actually a Slick Writer, one that you can write on photos and transparencies and stuff, but I like the blue. So that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.